We are back. We are the Football Tragics. Aaron's not here. Morty's not here. We've upgraded both of them. I am joined by Campo. I am joined by Baxter. He's loving his time at the moment. Rangers absolutely balling in the Europa League, which we'll get into. And obviously, as an Arsenal fan, he's absolutely loving how they're playing at the moment. How are we doing today, boys?
I'm brilliant, mate.
Couldn't be better.
I mean, it's very, very surprising to hear Campo say he's brilliant, especially after Spurs' last result. But we'll jump straight into it. We're going to jump to around the grounds. We're going to start in the Champions League. Now, I'll go to you first, Baxter. I'll ask you a few questions. Obviously, what were your thoughts on the games that have already happened? And if you had to pick a winner today that you had to predict, who are you going for after the first legs?
Looking at the first legs, and just pretty good. I think Madrid can go back home and cause an upset and go on to the next legs. City's to lose, really, with that 5-goal advantage. You know, Salzburg, great to hold on to Bayern for 1-1. Paul, the same. Chelsea's the same. I'm really surprised that United, with that 1-1 draw, I thought you were going to lose, but yeah, hats off.
Rhythm is a dancer, mate. My boy Alenga getting us there. So, all right. So, if you had to pick a favourite right now, pick your winner. We don't know if you're going to be back. You probably will be back on the podcast before the final, so we will get this as it goes. But who are you going for?
It's hard to. Oh, look, I'd love an upset, but I'm going to have to back the title holders at the moment. Chelsea, they're not doing a foot wrong in the Champions League. That's who I'm cheering for.
All right, Campo, agree, disagree? What did you think of the games, and who do you have taken it out?
I want PSG to win because, you know, my dad's there. But I can't look past Liverpool. They look good.
Sorry, hold on. Just a disclaimer there. His dad is not there. He calls Poch his daddy. So that's where we're going with this. But continue, Campo.
It's hard to look past Liverpool. They're on a really nice run at the moment. They're smashing teams left, right, and centre. Although they do have to play a full-strength team next game, they can't throw out kids like City can. Could it slow them down the league a bit? Time will tell, but Liverpool look very good.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you. If I had to go unbiased opinion, I'm leaning towards that Liverpool, potentially even Man City, but like we have spoken about, one of them is going to have to slip up in the league, and it's going to be who focuses and who does make that run in the Champions League could determine who the league winner is. So for me, I can't wait for Maguire to lift that trophy, but it's not going to happen. So I might do it on FIFA, screenshot it, clip it, and have it on here next time. But for me, I think I'm happy for anyone but a Premier League club to win. But if I had to pick someone today, it is hard to look past Liverpool, if I'm being completely honest. So he's got his jersey on, so I'm going to let you go first. We're going to move into the Europa League, Baxter, so I will go back to you. You've got a Rangers jersey on. It's a bit un-Australian at the moment with Big Ange being at Celtic, but talk me through it. Obviously, first, Dortmund are out. They were one of our favourites going into this next lot of rounds, but big win by Rangers. Obviously, you're pumped. Talk to me who you think the favourite is, because there was also a big game between Barcelona and Napoli, which Barcelona has gone through. So are Barcelona favourites, or do you see an upset?
Looking at the other results here, just quickly, you know, Atalanta going through, Porto going through, you know, Salzburg going through. Unlucky to Sheriff, you know, small club in between Romania and Ukraine at the moment. You know, unbiased, I think it's Barcelona to lose, but Rangers all the way, and couldn't be happier with our boys, you know, especially with Haaland out and making the most of it.
Oh, we'll go to you, Campo. Obviously, Baxter's just mentioned Haaland. Surely this all but means he's not going to be playing the next year. Yes, I don't know what the ladder's looking like, but I assume by the end of the season, Dortmund will be in that Champions League position. But does he go? Do you think he stays at Dortmund, or do you think he's definitely gone?
He's definitely gone. He doesn't want to. He's happy to be there, but he doesn't. That's not his dream. He doesn't dream to play for Dortmund the rest of his career. He wants that bigger move. He wants to win titles. You might win the odd one at Dortmund, but you're not going to consistently compete. He's going to move to a big club and he's going to win loads of titles. It's just the type of player he is.
All right, and I'm going to ask you, Campo, who do you have winning this competition?
Well, Barcelona have had an absolute madness in the summer window. They've signed players left, right, and centre, and they have a really strong squad now. And I cannot see them getting derailed.
Yeah, I mean, fair play. I think Barca obviously are going to go in as favourites this tournament, and fairly so, rightfully so. But I mean, I would love it to see. Is it West Ham that rejoined the competition now in that round of 16? I would love for them to pull an upset somehow, make a deep run. But as Campo always says, they can't back it up after Europe. So let's see what they focus on. There is one more level. I'm kind of sick of talking about European football, but we will give a quick note on it. The Conference League. Now, Baxter, I'll go to Campo first, but I do want to get your thoughts on this, obviously, because direct rival Celtic were knocked out of the competition. So Campo, obviously, Ange knocked out with Celtic. Him winning the league, surely that's enough. The fans are going to be happy. Obviously, he's got the League Cup, I believe they won, or they're still in.
They won.
Is this something where you go, okay, the squad probably wasn't ready to go for the treble just yet, but we'll aim for it next year when we're in the Champions League?
It's Celtic going to be happy if they win the league. You know, they've actually got competitors, or they've got Rangers that compete again. So it's a two-horse race all year. They want the league. They want the cup. I think Europeans just, you know, how far they go, that's how far they go. I don't think they're too fussed. I might be wrong, but if I'm a Celtic fan, I'm not worried about this. Just focus on the league, get that win, have bragging rights, and move on.
All right, and Baxter, obviously direct rival to the shirt you are wearing. Does this, in a sense, now that you guys have progressed into the next round, they are out, the cup's over, is that advantage Celtic now where they're not going to have to play as many games, having already been at the top of the table? Does that help them being fresh?
Yeah, it's a massive advantage. Obviously, they've got 6 games left in the league. They're, 3 points ahead of my team. And, just not having that midweek games playing here, there, and everywhere does help, you know, Rangers going through. But as we always say, it's better to have points on the board than have games in hand at the moment. And Celtic, it's theirs to lose, really. One loss, and we're right behind them, and we'll snatch it.
I just hope you keep that same attitude when we talk about Arsenal later. United, you might have 2 games in hand, but we are still ahead with points on the board. So just keep that same attitude, all right?
Yeah.
We'll move on to the last round of Around the Grounds. It's a bit of I don't know if it's humour, I don't know if it's sad, but obviously Meikayla Moore, New Zealand international, Liverpool player. So this is where the banter's coming from. Defender, lines up against America, scores an own goal, and I think it was the 4th minute, scores an own goal in the 6th minute, goes all right for about the next 30 minutes, and then tops off a hat-trick of another own goal in about the 35th and subbed off in the 40th. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I was a defender growing up. Baxter, I know you've played goalkeeper. Sorry, I was a striker. I've turned into a defender. I know you played goalkeeper. Campo, I'm not too sure where you played, but did you score many hat-tricks growing up? Does she claim the match ball here? Do you take that as a defender and go, no, I scored a hat-trick. I am taking that match ball home?
I think she wanted to get ready for the next Premier League game for Liverpool, so she wanted to get subbed off quicker. But it's just absolute banter. It was a perfect hat-trick too. Left foot, right foot header. Scored them all. It's just a once-in-a-lifetime thing you'll see, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Baxter, obviously, if you put it out here, Ronaldo's never done it. Messi's never done it. It's not the best record to have by your name, but it's a record nonetheless. But how would you, and like I said, you've played goalkeeper, you've conceded goals before. How do you pick your head back up? Is it something that she's going to sit with for a couple of weeks, or is it the game's over, I've messed up, let's just move on?
Yeah, it's hard because she got subbed off at the 40th minute. Like, just for her mental health there, just taking her off, it was the best thing to do. I think this is the next one. You just sit out, regroup, and get over it. You know, there's nothing, as a goalkeeper, there was nothing that the keeper could have done to prevent any of these goals going in. Like, if she was the striker, hats off. Like, that was great.
Clinical.
That was great. Yeah, it was. She was in a purple patch, as Campo says. But, just got to regroup, worry about the next game, and move on. You know, even Liverpool Women's League, they're not even in the top league for the women, so you might as well just sit in second division.
All right, well, we'll leave that there. I do feel bad for her. I do hope if she does need that mental help, it is a lot to take on. I hope she's got her teammates around and they do look after her. We're going to move into, obviously, a few games that did happen midweek. So Baxter, I don't know if you want to go do what you want to do, and I'll talk to Campo because his game is up first. So you've got about a minute. So go do what you need to do, and then
Sure thing.
I'll see you soon. So we'll jump into your game first, Campo. Burnley 1, Spurs 0. I don't think there's been a team in the history that's opened up the title race and kept it alive, and then a couple of days later opened up that relegation race, and there he is, and kept the relegation alive. So I'll go to you first, Campo. Talk to me through the game. Talk to me about Conte's comments as well, because obviously, whether it was taken out of context or not, it doesn't look like he wants to be at the club. You want Daddy back. Talk to me.
The first thing I heard the commentator say was, Nick Pope's never kept a clean sheet against Tottenham. This is his 8th attempt. From minute 1, I'm like, you're kidding. There's a red flag. We're not scoring today. But again, if we're going to help the almighty Wout Weghorst, I'm all for it. Keep him in the Prem. You love to see him in there. But again, we hit the crossbar. We had abundance of chances. Nick Pope, again, the keeper said he has never kept a clean sheet. He turned into Jose Sarr, and he went full octopus. Made a lot of saves.
He really? He made 2 saves. He had 2 shots on target.
But there were some there was some right in the bottom corner that he somehow got to.
True. That is true.
He just grew an extra leg that game. Made some cracking saves, and they deserve the 3 points. I'm not going to take any away from them. And Tarkovsky and Ben Mee, they were just solid as ever. So I'll give full credit to Burnley. But on Conte's comments, I don't think it's he wants to leave. It was more like, I'm here to do a job. I'm not doing my job. We'll have a conversation. If it's best for me to leave, then I'll leave. But Daniel Levy would be killing himself if he thought the best thing to do was get rid of Conte.
Well, man, if you define Spursy, it's paying out Poch to bring him back a year and a half later. That would define Spursy. And honestly, if they do get rid of Conte, I could see that happening. So Baxter, obviously, you're loving this. You were a rival. They were how many points clear with 2 games in hands, and now they're sitting 8th, or 7th, wherever they're sitting.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're buzzing. What did you think about this match? And obviously, does this put Burnley in the right direction to stay up?
Yeah, just to add on to Conte's comments, I read that he said he would leave at the end of the year if not given the correct amount of funds in the next transfer window. And if Daniel Levy is going to be a tight ass and hold on to some money, I think Conte's not the man you can have there. I believe Spurs right now need Conte to move forward, but I don't think Spurs need Daniel Levy. He needs to start splashing the cash to bring back Spurs to their sort of dominant period that they had there under Poch, pushing for that Champions League final. It was great to see. Obviously, the typical Robin Hood Spurs, steal from the rich, give to the poor kind of thing, brings Burnley sort of a inch clear of the relegation there with games in hand. But
they win their catch-up. They do jump Newcastle net out of that relegation by a point. So,
well, they do have Watford. I know that. They do have Watford and someone else. Whether they win both those games is a mystery to me. And, good game all around.
All right, well, we'll leave that one there. I mean, knowing Conte, he did turn that job down originally because he wasn't given the funds he wanted. They brought in Nuno. He's got fired. He's come down. So who knows what that agreement was with Levy that got him there. But nonetheless, Spurs, for me, the mentality they're playing with probably almost shoots them in the leg for that top 4. And I think they're looking towards that Europa League qualification now with Arsenal flying. United somehow still picking up results, playing shit football. I think Spurs might just drop out and get that Europa League spot. So we'll move on to one man who we've spoken about plenty of times on the podcast. He balls till December. He gets linked to teams. He then turns to shit. The January transfer window closes and Zaha turns into an absolute baller until the end of the year. So he did score 2 goals here. We do have Crystal Palace 4. We have Watford 1. Campo, we kind of predicted this. What were your thoughts? Is this more of what we expected from Crystal Palace?
Yeah, it's just they're hot one week and they're finding the target every shot, and the next week they're shooting blanks. It's just hot and cold with Palace. And again, 7 shots, 4 goals. It's unheard of for Crystal Palace. And Conor Gallagher, he's the unsung hero of that team, constantly performing. You just got to think, where does he fit in that Chelsea team next year? Because he has to be there.
Yeah, fair. And obviously Baxter, nice and quick. Is there anything you want to add, or are you shocked by this result?
Nah, Watford are going down. Like to see him leave. It was just good performance from Vieira and a good win.
All right, we'll move on. We do have still 2 more games. I promise we will get to the round 27 preview. We probably could have almost done an episode just on this stuff, but nice and quickly. Liverpool 6, Leeds 0. No surprises here, boys. Is there anything you want to add? Is there anything you want to talk about, or just a great performance by Liverpool and Leeds being Leeds?
Just Leeds being Leeds. They're so open at the back. You don't have to try to attack, and they open themselves for you. Again, Salah and Mane were the main man in this game. Just turned it on. Leeds just can't handle these massive clubs.
And I'll ask you one question, Baxter. Obviously, Bielsa, who did a lot to get them up. Is it the respect for Bielsa for bringing them up after so long? Has it gone too far? Could it cost them the Premier League? Do they need to get rid of him? What are your thoughts on that?
Look, hats off to him for getting him up there, and first time in many years back up to the Prem. But this day and age, it's a business-driven game, and results keep your job. And right now, Leeds are looking like they're going to be in the Championship next year. And look, if that's the way it is, just cut your losses now and bring in a new manager so he can work a few months before going into the transfer market, getting in the players he needs before going down to the Championship and getting back up here, if that's what's going to happen for them. But I think you just need to cut your losses. There's no way I don't see Leeds staying up.
Yeah, I mean, no disagreeing here. I think they could be a team that are going to fall into that relegation and go down with the likes of Norwich and Watford. So we'll move on. We're going to give you the limelight. You've got a maximum of 2 minutes because we are pushing 20 minutes already, Baxter. So me and Campo, we're going to say full credit. Arsenal got the result. They fought back. Wolves capitulated. But give us your thoughts on your team. 2-1. They move into 5th. 1 point behind United. 2 games in hand. Is Arteta bringing Champions League football back, and is it Arsenal's to lose now?
Yeah, Arteta's trying to bring Champions League football back to the Emirates. It is ours to lose. As you said, we've got games in hand, and you've got the points on the board. We lose our games against Chelsea and Tottenham, and another game coming up, which is postponed, Liverpool. We could be just sitting in Europa League spot with Spurs there. Full credit to the boys. Wolves 14 days earlier said you shouldn't have celebrated like that, going down to 10 men and still winning 1-0. And then they celebrated the same way at Spurs. I think it's just have some pie in your face and eat it. But Wolves, mate, just get out of our league. We're coming.
All right. That was a bit quick, Campo. So I'm going to give you a say. Do you have anything to add? Or is it just they're on a roll, and do you think it'll continue, or do you think you see it dropping off?
Again, as Lacazette, he's just not that main striker for me. His shot this morning was atrocious. He's just got lucky that Jose Sarr pushed it into the back of the net for him. But again, Arsenal deserved the win. They dominated the game. They had all the chances. Should have had a penalty in the first 30 seconds. They move forward, and Wolves, they take a tumble.
Well, one of your kids is crying, so we'll speed it along. We'll jump on it.
That's mine.
There you go. It's Baxter's. So we'll jump in quickly.
He's fine.
We will pump the games up on the screen. There they are. We have Southampton kicking off against Norwich tomorrow morning. Leeds taking on Tottenham on Saturday. We may be doing a post game. We may be doing a watch along. Kind of stay tuned. You'll see what comes on. We will put it on social media. We've got Brentford taking on Newcastle, Palace taking on Burnley, Brighton taking on Aston Villa, United taking on Watford, Everton taking on Man City. We can see there that the Chelsea and Leicester game is postponed. There is the cup game coming up, the final, so we will get a prediction at the end of the pod of who we think is going to win that. And obviously finishing off the week with West Ham versus Wolves. So we'll jump straight into it. I'm going to throw it to you, Campo. It's a team you don't like giving credit to a lot. Southampton, they have been on a tear. If Ralph isn't there for manager of the month, I will be completely shocked. But give us your thoughts on this match.
Ralph should be winning manager of the month, in my opinion. The caliber that he's got that team playing, is ridiculous. Their high press is one of the best in the league. And I see them having no trouble beating Norwich, and I think they'll win 2-0.
And Baxter, what are your thoughts? Again, same question. He's manager at the moment. Should anyone else win it? Is Arteta in the conversation, or is it Ralph's? Should he take it?
It's Ralph's for sure. Close second Arteta, if you want to give it to him for second place. I think Southampton will pump 5-0 past Norwich, up the Saints.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up with that game. With all of us are going to agree. I'm going to go 3-0. I think Prowsey gets on the score sheet. I'd love to see him pop in 1 or 2 free kicks because arguably he's the best free kick taker in the world. And I'm putting Messi in that same statement. I still think I'd take Prowsey at the moment, given how good he's been from a dead ball. So attack me in the comments, you Messi fans. I don't really care. And we're going to move on to the next game, which is obviously Campo. We have talked shit about Leeds not being able to defend. If there's anything that defines Spursy, you're probably going to lose this game. So give us your thoughts on this game.
It would be Spursy to lose this game, but again, we could play our kids and they'd still probably run through Leeds just of how bad defensively they are. If there's one game you do want to bounce back on, it's this one. I cannot see us losing this game. We're $1.90, $3 minus 1.5 goals. So load up, fellas. I think we'll win 3-1.
And obviously, remember to gamble responsibly. We will make sure we put that out there so no one sues us when they lose their house after that loses. So, Baxter, what are your thoughts on this game and what is your prediction?
I think this is 2 teams who can't defend, so it's an all-out attack here. I'm going to go a 4-3 Spurs win.
I'll tell you what, if that is a 4-3 Spurs win and we are doing a watch-along, it's going to be absolutely cracker. And if we're doing a post-game, you might see Campo a bit sweaty come the end of that game because his heart's going to be going 100 miles per hour. I don't see Leeds being able to defend for 90 minutes. And I'm going to go a bit of a shock here. I'm going to go a clean sheet for Spurs. I think Leeds are that terrible. If it wasn't for United switching off for 2 minutes or for a minute, they don't score at all in that game. They don't look threatening. One of them was a lucky cross. One was, I don't want to talk about Maguire, who scored a goal that game, so I'll leave him alone. But it's just poor defending. But I think I'm going to go 2-0 Tottenham. They put the pressure back on that top 4. And again, like we've spoken about with points on the board, when Arsenal do start getting more of those catch-ups, which they already have, I'd rather have points on the board than catch-up games. So we'll move on to the other end of the table. And now it's Brentford versus Newcastle. We did start the pod a lot early this year talking about how happy we were with how Brentford were playing, how brilliant they look, how they're not going down. And all of a sudden, if Burnley win their catch-up, they're only, I think it's, 2 points from safety if Burnley win their catch-up. So, Baxter, can you see a world where Brentford go down, or do you think they are talented enough to stay up? And then what are your thoughts on this game?
It's looking like Brentford are in their second-year syndrome within their first year of being in the Premier League. It wouldn't look the way they're going. It wouldn't surprise if they do go down. I don't think they have the caliber of squad to stay up. Newcastle is just really hot right now, so I'm going to go 2-0 Newcastle.
So 2-0 Newcastle. Campo, you've got that look on your face like you don't want to agree with it. You want to say, I don't know if you're looking at there saying Brentford's going to win or it's going to be a draw. So I'll hand it over to you. What's your thoughts on this game?
I just have this gut feeling it's going to be a stupid result, and I think it's going to be a 1-0 Brentford. I just have this weird feeling it's going to happen. So make it happen, Tony.
All right. Well, you know what? We've had a Brentford win, a Newcastle win.
Sitting on the fence?
I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm going to go 1-1, and it's not going to help either team in this relegation race. It's going to help the teams around them. It's going to help the likes of, obviously, Burnley, who will then have 2 games in hand on Newcastle. Everton, it's going to obviously help them. And obviously Leeds, it's going to help them too, who have 2 games in hand as well. So I'm going to go 1-1. If I had to pick a winner, it's Brentford. I don't want Newcastle. I want them gone. It'd be the funniest thing to see, the richest club in the world in the championship. But I do see them staying up. And we will move into one of their, obviously, rivals at the moment. It's Crystal Palace taking on Burnley. Is this the week Burnley escape, or do Crystal Palace prove too much strength, Campo?
Big Verg. I can't even say his name. He's just that good. He's going to score a hat-trick this game, and they're going to win 3-0. Berghoff, hat-trick.
That's a big call. And Campo, have you got the odds for that one, or do we have to look them up later? And
It's probably $151 odds. So,
so if you've got a spare dollar in your sports bet account, chuck it on there, or your Unibet, or whoever you use, chuck it in there. Now, Baxter, can you bring a bit of sense back to this show? It's not going to be a 3-0 hat-trick, surely. What's the result going to be?
No, I think Burnley just got lucky against Spurs and just held out playing that Burnley shithousery defensive. But Palace are too hot right now. Conor Gallagher is playing some terrific football, so I'm going to go Palace 3-1.
3-1. I mean, I'm going to slide with Palace. I'm sorry, Dean. I know you're going to be listening. You love Burnley, but I just can't give it to him. That touch that Gallagher took in the box for his goal against who did they beat 4-1 again? They beat Watford. That touch, the composure to take the touch in the box, finish that goal. I'm going to go 2-0 Palace, and I don't think that's the worst case scenario for Burnley. They'll still have that game in hand, and if results go their way, they're still only going to be 1 or 2 points outside saving the season. So we'll move on. A team that started in hot form versus a team that is in a bit of a up, down. It's Brighton versus Aston Villa. Campo, does Gerrard continue, or does he start sliding down that table?
I think that honeymoon period is over for Gerrard. I'm going to sit on the fence this one. I think both teams will leak goals, but they both can score goals, so I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2, and obviously Baxter, it is a quite interesting one. Gerrard's come in, he's hit the ground running, he's won that 1 or 2 games, and everyone was like, oh, how good are they going? And again, if Burnley win their catch-up, they're only 5 points clear of relegation. So what are your thoughts on, obviously, Villa as a team? I don't think they're going to go down, but like Campo said, is the honeymoon period over?
Yeah, well, there are two losses on the trot, Watford and Newcastle, both below them. Brighton love scoring that 85th minute equaliser to snatch the point away. Wouldn't surprise me if Villa win out and win 2-0. Wouldn't surprise me if Brighton win 1-1. Yeah, I just think I'm going to go Brighton 1-1 because they're at home. They know how to do it.
You're going to go Brighton 1-1 or Brighton to win? Are we going to draw? Or are we
Nah. Brighton for a draw. That's it. That's it.
Well, I think United kind of summed up Brighton. If you can defend in the 45th to the stoppage time and the 90th to the end of stoppage time, you pretty much most of the time get a result. So I'm going to go Brighton 1-0. They're stubborn. They're going to get that goal in the end of the first half, and they're going to kind of see out the second half. But I do see this a game where Villa dominates, and it does get frustrating, and they don't get the result. So more troubles for Gerrard. He's got a lot to do still, but I think if he does survive this year, he's going to have the players moving forward to try and build this squad. So we'll move into my boys. I'm not confident in the slightest. Last time we played this team, I came on the podcast, I was bouncing, I'm confident, and we got absolutely slapped. So it's going to be interesting what lineup comes out. Obviously, I think it's 2.5 weeks until we do see Champions League football again. So we do have a bit of that break. We do have a crazy schedule coming up. We play the likes of Liverpool, City, Atletico Madrid again, Tottenham again. So to me, this is a must win, and I think that's how Ralph is going to attack this game. I'm going to go United 3-0. I think that Champions League result is massive. And I think, like I said, they're coming into this game knowing that if they don't win this game, they've got a Liverpool, City, a Tottenham, and an Atletico Madrid to come. So I think they get the job done here. They move on, and we'll probably get battered for the next couple of weeks. But Campo, what are your thoughts on this game?
I think United do win, but I think they score 3 as well. But I think Emmanuel Dennis is just going to run rings around Harry Maguire, and I think he'll bag 2. So I think they'll win 3-2.
But how many goals is Harry Maguire going to score?
None this game.
He's not scoring this game? Okay. We'll move on. Baxter, is Harry Maguire scoring? What are your thoughts on this result?
Yeah, look, Harry Maguire loves a goal off the head. So I'm going to say, with that result at Madrid...
Hold on. If he loves a goal off his head, why can't he do it more? Why did it take 140 corners for us to score a goal off a corner?
Because he's a walking fridge.
What's your result, Baxter?
Look, I'd love to say 4-0 United, but I can't go. I'm going to just say like
Just say
1-0.
it. Just say it.
I'm going to say
No,
1-0.
just say
1-0.
Say
1-0. Look, I'll say it to you later, 4-0, but right now, 1-0 United over Watford. That's it.
Who's scoring the goal? Is it Fred? Is Fred tapping up with another goal?
Yeah, we could go Fred.
I
Yeah.
mean, hey, he's got more league goals than Lionel Messi, and I can't say that for much longer, so I'm going to give it to him. So
Yeah,
we'll give it to Fred.
we'll give it to Fred. Come on.
All right, Fred's scoring the winner. We're in agreement that United's winning, all three of us. So if you're gambling, we're probably going to lose because we're never in agreement when a result goes that way. So we'll move on to the other side of Manchester. Manchester City, they take on Everton. Everton home game. I'm going to start here. This could get ugly for Lamps. This could get very ugly for Lampard. And yes, I know he's been playing some decent football, but City are on a different level. They've now got that kick up the arse that they've lost to Tottenham. The title race is back on. And if I'm Pep, I'm going sorted out right now. No one's positions are safe. So I'm going to go out there. And I don't know if I'm going to be the most out there tip because I know Campo's going to go last. And he always throws an out there tip at least once in the podcast. So I'm going to go 5-0 Manchester City. And I'm going to see if Campo tops that, lowers that, or agrees with me. But we'll go to you first, Baxter. Thoughts on obviously Lampard so far, and does he get the result, or is it a clear run for City?
I think it's a suicide managerial position that he's taken. And I like, if the other teams weren't so shit, Everton would be dropping down to the championship. And I think at least 6-0 is on the cuff here. Like, as we said, City, every time they get battered or lose the upset game, they come out the next week and just destroy the team. Doesn't matter who's in the way, they're just going to destroy them. 6-0, that's it.
All right. I thought I was out there. Baxter's topped it. Campo, are you going 7 heaven for Manchester City, or are you going more, or what is your result?
Yeah, I thought my out there was Burnley winning 3-0, but I feel sorry for Lampard, but I'm going a bit under than everyone. I'm going to go 3-0 comfortable City result.
I mean, I think if you're a City fan, you're happy with that. You put another 3 goals on that for and against, and like you said, we've said it once, we've said it twice, we'll say it a million times. The points on the board mean more than games in hand. So they could move 6 points clear. And yes, Liverpool have a game in hand, but it is a game in hand that you have to win. So we'll move into the last game of obviously the Premier League round. It is West Ham. They have struggled a bit in the league. They're taking on Wolves, who arguably until, the 80th minute, were probably looking like the favourites to move into that Champions League spot. Arsenal have come back. They beat them. Do they learn their lesson, Baxter, or do West Ham win this, or do Wolves win this? Which way are you going?
Look, I'm going to say, Wolves are in a bit of a mud patch at the moment. They've lost twice to us in 14 days. I heard the commentator say today, like, Wolves have never lost when going up in the first half this season. And, yeah, eat your pie, mate. And I think West Ham to win 3-2.
On top of that as well, I don't know if I've got this wrong, but I don't think Arteta had won this season after being behind at halftime. It could be incorrect.
That is correct. We have never been down and won. We've always just down. Or we either score first and lose, score and win the game, or until today that was it. And it's good.
All right. Obviously, Campo, like Baxter did just say, they are a bit in the mud at the moment, Wolves. Take away the result because Arsenal are a team in form. I think the worst part was they had 20 more shots, almost 60% possession. They didn't really threaten Ramsdale much at all. Campo, are we saying, although they're up there, are Wolves in this top 4 race? Are they in that Europa League, or are they kind of just filling the spots until the big boys, as per they say, come back in and take those spots?
I don't think they're in the Champions League race, but I think they're in the European race. They're well and truly in that. But again, they've had 2 losses in the last 8 games, and they're both to Arsenal. I wouldn't call them in the mud, maybe in the mud against Arsenal, but again, see they play some decent defensive footy, and they rarely get broken down. I can't see them conceding 3 at all. I think West Ham are more in the mud than Wolves, in my opinion. I'll go Wolves 2-0.
I'm going to ask you this both without you looking it up. I don't think either of you have the ladder in front of you.
I
But if
do.
I was to say to you right now, well, close that ladder. I don't want you looking at it, Baxter. Get rid of it. I don't want you looking at it at the moment. I'll go to Campo first. Campo, give me a number. How many goals do you think Wolves have conceded in the league this year?
Their second best defense. I remember that. I'm going to go
Third best.
18.
They have moved the third best after today. Okay, and Baxter.
I think it's like in single digits at the moment.
Oh, it's not single digits. You're miles off there. Relax a little bit there.
So. I did have a look at it, and I was like, oh.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you the answer because I don't know what. I think you're looking at the goal difference is in single digits.
Sorry, yeah, it is. It is. Sorry, I saw the difference. I was like, single digits, really?
So they have only conceded 20 goals all year, and it is after they were second. They have moved into third now, equal with Liverpool. Obviously, Chelsea has only conceded 18. Man City has only conceded 17, and obviously they joined Liverpool conceding 20. But I think the craziest thing is they've only scored 24 goals. So they have now played 25 games, and they're averaging less than a goal a game. So, like you said, I don't know where your results coming from, Baxter, but I don't think they're conceding that many goals. I'm going to go 1-0.
Kurt Zuma, the cat kicker, is not going to scream one in. What are you talking about?
You know what? You brought up Kurt Zuma, so we're going to talk about it. Absolute banter from, I think, was it Chris Wood? Was it the New Zealander?
Yes,
Chris Wood?
yeah.
So every time he touched the ball, started meowing at him. Now, I don't know if that's something that, I don't know. Is it funny? Is it good banter? I think it's hilarious. I'm all for it. Mate, if you can get in someone's head, it's brilliant. But it's got to be obviously a New Zealander or an Australian that comes up with that sort of banter and just attacks him. So, Campo, what were your thoughts on that?
If you're going to kick cats, you're going to get meowed at. If the football players aren't going to do it, the crowd is. If you kick cats, you're going to get abused. It's just simple as that.
I think it was his own fans that were chanting. I can't remember the exact chant, but they had mocked one of their own chants about Curtis Zuma and how if they win the Europa League, they're going to send it into the night. So
yeah,
it's great banter. Baxter, obviously we don't condone animal violence, but
no, I'm not going to start that. But it's good to see that the fans could turn a negative into a positive and chant about their own player kicking a cat, winning the Europa League, which I don't think that's going to happen. And, Chris Wood, love him to death, meowing at the bloke and just, it was good to see. Just good all-round
banter. We'll go one further. Obviously, you have spoken about fans. We are getting closer to 40 minutes. We have kind of rushed through this. We don't have much to go. But we'll talk about one lot of fans, obviously, taking the piss a little bit. Did you see the Greenwood and the Leeds and United fans about Greenwood exchange? Did either of you see that? So, obviously, the Leeds fans were chanting, he's a rapist, he's this, he's that. So the United fans turned around and just said, he's one of you. He was born near you. And they just kind of ripped into him. And the Leeds fans just sat down and had nothing to say. They were finished. I'll send you the link later. They've just absolutely ripped into him and said he was born near you. So I know it is getting late. It's just going to be a quick prediction. 30 seconds each. Chelsea, Liverpool, the EFL Cup final. Both teams could end the season with no silverware if they don't take this. And I'm not taking away from the Club World Cup that Chelsea's already won, the Community Shield, but I don't really care about those right now. Campo, I'll let you go first. Who's your winner? What's the score?
All the signs point to Liverpool. The team in form. Chelsea are just scraping through, but they are getting by. But these are the games where Chelsea turn up in. It's at Wembley. That's a fortress for them. I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea. I'm going to go extra time. I'm going to go penalties. And I'm going to say Chelsea winning on penalties. Kepa comes on, pours an absolute masterclass. It's the only reason he's still at the club is for penalty shootouts. Baxter, are we going all three of us, ruling out Liverpool, or are you going to make Morty happy when he listens to this pod? And who are you going for?
I'm with Morty here, and I'm going to say 2-0 Paul. The Egyptians king to score a double. Back it, take your money, punt it on that because he's going to rip shreds into that Chelsea defense. So.
And obviously gamble responsibly. I'm shocked at how many times I have to say that this episode, but we have been the Football Tragics. There was a lot. This is the round 27 preview, so we will be back. Like I said, there might be a watch-along for the Spurs game. If not, Campo and he's still awake, there will be a post-game reaction. But Baxter, thank you for joining us. Campo, thank you for joining me again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Peace.